save the world.
Okay, so hello again, everybody. Nice to be here. Thank you all for being here. Title of my talk today is I Heal, Therefore I Am. So this, of course, is a takeoff on the great statement by the 17th century French philosopher René Descartes. He lived from the years 1596 to 1650. So in the 1600s, 17th century, he was very active, and he had a very profound statement that he said. I think, therefore I am. Actually, he said it in French, which is je pense, donc je suis, I think, or something similar to that. I remember when I first heard that, when I was a young person, I thought it was very profound. I probably thought that I knew that I existed because I could see myself in the mirror, or because I could hold my hand up, or I knew that I existed because I could hear things and hear myself talk. But, some people can't see, some people are blind, they still exist, they know they exist. Some people can't hear, they're deaf, they still exist, they know they exist. So, René Descartes came up with this statement, and apparently he did it because he started out with the process of doubting everything that he believed. He was just going to doubt everything that he believed, which is a lot like what A Course in Miracles says, that we need to question every value that we have. So he doubted everything that he believed until he came to what he said was sure knowledge. And so when he got to sure knowledge, he got to I think, therefore I am. And then he started building back his reality on top of that. And then he eventually accepted just about all the things that he had doubted before. But at least now they were built on something firm. So I remember just being really impressed by that, and I remembered it as a young person. And then when I was reading A Course in Miracles, probably when I was doing the workbook lessons for the first time, in lesson 54, we have this statement. It said, if I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. And the minute I read it, I said, oh, that's Descartes' famous statement. And here it is in the Course, worded slightly differently, but the same thing. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. The last couple of years, I've been reading the Circle of Atonement edition of A Course in Miracles, and in the text, there's another statement about Descartes directly. And I believe it's in chapter 3, and there's a paragraph devoted to Descartes and talking about his process, and Jesus acknowledging the truth around what Descartes had come up with. So we got A Course in Miracles agreeing with a 17th century philosopher. I think that's kind of cool. If I was going to apply that statement on a little more practical level, like applying it to this world that we appear to find ourselves in, I would probably say, I heal, therefore I am. Or maybe I heal, therefore my life has purpose. My life has meaning. And if my life has purpose and meaning, then I am here for a reason. I am here in an energy flow that makes my life significant, that makes my life wonderful, that makes my life happy. A Course in Miracles tells us that we need to elevate ourselves, and we need to call upon God and upon our true selves way more often than we're used to. And while it tells us to call upon God in a couple of workbook lessons, it evades the idea of what name to use. When we're calling God, what are we using for his name? But then in a very late workbook lesson, in like a final lesson, it gives us a very provocative statement. It says, sickness is but another name for sin. Healing is but another name for God. The miracle is thus a call to him. So if we want to call to God, we could use something that can be his name. And healing is another name. Possibly there are other names, but healing is a name of God. And I remember being a little perplexed by that, and I've talked about this many times. But the reason why healing is a name for God is because a name is a symbol. Usually we think of it as a word, but a name is a symbol that represents, that calls to mind something. So healing isn't true in reality, because sickness isn't true in reality, but healing, as it plays itself out here in the perceptual realm, is a symbol that calls to mind God. And so A Course in Miracles, late in the workbook, is challenging us and teaching us that if we want to call to God, and it's certainly been telling us to call to God, then we use healing to make a call to God. We engage ourselves with healing. Now, a lot of students have some difficulty with this, and I think it's because we've got this idea that healing is a difficult and complex thing. And I have challenged that many, many times. I think the thoughts that say healing is difficult and complex are ego thoughts. That's the ego trying to make it difficult. One of the things I do for my healing team every day is to try to make it simple and easy and not take a lot of time. Just read the healing team email. Well, it take about 3-4 minutes maybe. And I'm really blessed that the 56 people on the healing team are doing that. So you want an easy way to practice healing each and every day? Join the healing team. It's a very easy way to do that. And A Course in Miracles tells us that healing is not complex. It says, whenever a teacher of God has tried to be a channel for healing, he has succeeded. So all we got to do is try. It's all we have to do is sincerely try to be a channel for healing. Let me repeat this. Whenever a teacher of God has tried to be a channel for healing, he has succeeded. Maybe some people will say, well, the challenge is being a teacher of God. I don't know if I'm a teacher of God. But A Course in Miracles says it's easy to be a teacher of God. In the teacher's manual, it says, a teacher of God is anyone who chooses to be one. His qualifications consist solely of this. Somehow, somewhere, he has made a deliberate choice in which he did not see his interests as apart from somebody else's. So all we got to do is choose to be a teacher of God, and we are one. But then it gives us an interesting criteria for us to make that choice. We have to see that our interests are the same as someone else's. And I think this sets up and reinforces a very consistent teaching in A Course in Miracles that gets missed by a lot of people, that being a teacher of God and being a healer and being a miracle worker is an interpersonal interaction. It's between what appears to be different people. I have to see my interests as the same as the interests in what appear to be somebody else. So it is this interpersonal thing. It's going to take at least two people to truly be a healing, to truly be a miracle. And it's going to take this interaction between people to be miracle workers. So this year, actually just about a month ago, with a group of people, I started reading the text. And I was happy to read the text because I'd never read the text before. So the text is a very early edit of A Course in Miracles. And, there's different material in it, and then there's material that's worded differently in it. So I ran across this line, and while this survives in the other edits, it's been changed in the other edits. And in the text, it makes a very clear statement that gets lost after it's been edited. So in the text, we read, this is just still in chapter 1, revelation induces only experience, with a stress on the word only. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. in the end, they are more useful because of their interpersonal, with again stress on interpersonal nature. So miracles produce interpersonal action between people. And they actually are more useful than revelation because of that. And I think we still have a lot of A Course in Miracles students who really are looking for revelation. They're looking for experience of connection and bliss and experience of God and God realization. And it's just not what A Course in Miracles is about. A Course in Miracles is about interpersonal interactions of healing. And then it has told us that they are actually the more useful thing. So while you may think it would be useful to experience yourself in one and in union with God, Course in Miracles is telling you no, it's actually more useful to connect with your sisters and brothers and offer those that are in need a little help. Okay, Course in Miracles says miracles are a form of healing. They supply a lack. They are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. So again, interpersonal, between people. More than one person is involved in a miracle. They're performed by those who temporarily have more, for those who temporarily have less. That's at least two people. It could be more than that. But that's really what a miracle is about. They're interpersonal. This is not a course in revelation, as I've said frequently. This is a course in miracles. And in that quote from the text, it definitely said it's more useful for us right now to focus on miracles. It's not as useful for us to focus on revelation. And when I really got that, I just really realized how consistent this was with a lot of the teaching of A Course in Miracles. I mean, let's face it, the teaching of A Course in Miracles is a lot about relationships. I mean, it's a teaching about relationships. It doesn't teach us to cloister off in a cave. It teaches us to relate to people. And it says in the text, your way will be different, not in purpose, but in means. A holy relationship is a means of saving time. So our way is different. The means that A Course in Miracles is giving to us is relationship, making our relationships holy, making our relationships meaningful, making our relationships miraculous, making our relationships healing. In another place it says, when you meet anyone, remember it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Again, it's about that interpersonal interaction that we have with other people. You got to become a people person to really be an A Course in Miracles student. That's probably not great news for some people who don't like to consider themselves people person. Okay. Our 16th president of the United States was Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln said a lot of wonderful things. He was a bit of a philosopher himself. But he had this quote. This isn't one of his ones that people quote a lot, but I've always liked it. He says, most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. In other words, we're as happy as we choose to be. How happy are you? As happy as you're choosing to be. You want to be happier? Choose to be happier. The opportunities are there. Ask for help. Ask Jesus for help. Ask the Holy Spirit for help. Ask your brothers and sisters for help. Maybe one of them will offer you a miracle. Join with us every Sunday. It's a happy place. It's a happy experience. It's interpersonal. It's interaction between people. Come to any one of our 6 drop-in groups all week long. Join with other people. Course in Miracles says to heal is to make happy. I have told you before to think of how many opportunities you have had to gladden yourself and how many you have refused. This is the same as telling you that you have refused to heal yourself. So healing and happiness are connected. They're actually the same thing. To heal is to make happy. And then he's telling us don't refuse all the opportunities that you have to gladden yourself. You're being given them all the time. And choose them. It's important. That's how we heal ourselves. That's how we heal others. I always perceive the Sunday gathering as an opportunity for me to gladden myself and for other people to be glad. For me, it's fun. It's fun. You get to listen to me not sing very well against against recorded music. That's way better than me. It's part of my charm. It's part of the charm of the Sunday gathering. Just come to have fun because it's fun. Just come, have fun. Come to our groups. They're fun too. It's fun to study A Course in Miracles. It's a happy discipline because we're being guided to choose happiness in order to choose healing. Most healing modalities that the world manifests are anything but happy. They're very, very serious. Usually, they're weighty. These are our temples of healing. They're not happy places. As most of you know, I had a very unpleasant ER experience on January 6th. Again, it was anything but happy. And they pressured me to, admit myself to the hospital. And, I refused. It wasn't a very happy place. And it wasn't my guidance. I just wasn't gonna do that because I was not guided to. And when you think about hospitals and how they generally are not happy, hospitals may not be the best place for you when you're sick. I challenge people with that. I think they're probably pretty okay places for injuries, but I wonder about sickness. Maybe hospitals aren't really the best places for the sick. I think about years ago, there was a very popular book, a famous book called Anatomy of an Illness. Anatomy of an Illness was written by Norman Cousins. I believe it came out in 1979. So, it's been around for a while. It has a subtitle. It's Anatomy of an Illness as Perceived by the Patient. They made it into a documentary movie in 1984. So I don't know if you remember this, but Norman Cousins was the editor of a popular periodical. I think it was Saturday Review. And he came down with this sort of unique blood disease that they couldn't cure. And he just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And he was in the hospital. And at one point, he got that he wasn't doing well. And they were starting to talk about him not going to make it. Like they talked about me on January 6th. They're going to tell him that he should prepare because things weren't going well. And somehow, I don't remember all the details because it was a long time ago that I read that book and saw that movie. But somehow he got the idea that he needed to check himself out of the hospital. And he needed to be in a happier atmosphere. And he checked himself first into a hotel, into a nice hotel. And he thought that the nice hotel, as expensive as it was a lot cheaper than the hospital. And he surrounded himself and listened to comedies. As many comedies as he could get a hold of. That's must have been the day of the VCR, So he got tapes of comedies. I remember he said he listened to the whole season's episodes of Candid Camera and other things. And he just laughed. He just found every opportunity to laugh. And he just laughed as much as he could. He also did some high-dose vitamin C. He had some other things he was doing. And he got well. And became a real proponent of laugh therapy and just being happy as part of the healing procedures that we need to take. And I remember reading that book at a very impressionable time in my life. I think it had a really wonderful experience, effect on me, and probably just was something I needed to read and hear at that time, and was very formative. Because that's just about a year before I got into A Course in Miracles. So, yeah, I got into A Course in Miracles in 1980. So that was when that was all going on. A Course in Miracles tells us those who attempt to heal without being wholly joyous themselves call forth different kinds of responses at the same time, and thus deprive others of the joy of responding wholeheartedly. To be wholehearted, you must be happy. To be wholehearted, you must be happy. To be a healer, you must be wholehearted. To be a healer, you must be happy. And here's Jesus calling us out, telling us that if we're going to be healers, we got to be happy. We just got a command from Jesus. You must be happy. So, maybe it's time for us to really embrace what President Abraham Lincoln told us. We're about as happy as we make up our minds to be. And if Jesus is telling us that we must be happy, then maybe we need to make up our minds to be happy. And that just means seizing the opportunities that are going to present themselves all the time for happiness if we choose to see them. And certainly stop refusing them. Stop refusing opportunities to be happy. Jesus tells us in A Course in Miracles early on, chapter 1, says, the real members of my party are active workers. So we need to be active. We need to be doing things. We need to be doing miracles, which, as I said, were interpersonal doings with other people. We need to be extending healing energy to other people. We need to be asking for healing energy ourselves when we need it. So if we want to be a member of Jesus's party, then we got to be active about this. It's not a passive thing, A Course in Miracles. Now, I've always taken the definition of party. Party is one of those words that has multiple definitions. So one of the definitions of party is a group of people taking part in a particular activity or trip, especially one for which they have been chosen. So, that seemed to really fit. I want to be part of Jesus's party. I want to be that group of people that he has chosen to do this special activity, to be a healer, to extend healing interpersonally with other people. But just today, thinking about how much emphasis there is on fun and happy, maybe it also means the other kind of party where we get together and laugh and fun and drink and eat. I was thinking, who's going to bring the booze? Well, we don't need to bring the booze because Jesus is just going to turn the water into wine. So that's all we need to do at Jesus's party is just show up. And the wine will flow. And we'll have fun. And we'll have fun while we're healing. And while we are a part of that group that has been chosen for a particular function. Healing is right at the core of A Course in Miracles. Descartes may have said, I think, therefore I am. But I say, I heal, therefore I am. I heal, therefore I am happy. And I heal, therefore I am happy, interacting interpersonally with other people, extending love and healing wherever I can, and asking for it whenever I need it, and I am happy to be at that party. That's my talk for today. Thank you.
Open my eyes to see I save the world. I save the world. I save the world. I save